Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Babb, and I'm with Team 7 here, presenting our research project for Management 301. So our group conducted a management analysis report on the company Xerox. So today we'll be going over the company history, mission values, and ethics statements, corporate and human resources strategy, control systems, leadership styles, some of the decision-making processes that they go through, and the motivations for the company. So today's Xerox is a multinational information technology company that provides digital scanning, graphics, document management, but most famously known for printing and copying. So the company grew from an idea that was spawned from a second story apartment above a bar into the multi-billion dollar company it is today. So the name Xerox actually comes from a technology that revolutionized office copying and office technology called xerography. A man named Chester Carlson was the father of xerography in 1938. He was a single child raised by his single father, and he had to take on a job at a printing office at a young age to make ends meet for his family. It was there that his entrepreneurial mind really started to blossom, and he started a journal of ideas of inventions. He later got several degrees in chemistry, physics, and law, which had led him to become a patent attorney for a company called PR Mallory and Company. As a patent attorney, he realized that he had to reproduce many different patent ideas and patent specifications, and there had to have been a better way than handwriting or hand typing out these things. So he came up with the idea of a copy machine. So there were several methods back then that were used to print and copy at the time. Most of them were chemical processes that were just completely impractical and inefficient. So he was reading about a technology called electrophotography. In 1938, his idea blossomed, came to fruition, and he developed the first electrophotography machine, or xerography. After a decade or so, he tried selling this idea to some companies to produce, and the Haloid Company, a small company that made photo paper, ended up taking up the idea. Fast forward to another 10 years, and successful machines were created through xerography. The company, the first machine made was called the Xerox machine, and the second one was the 914 copy machine. They were so wildly successful that their profits went from $2 million to $22 million in just 5 years, and it just exponentially grew over the years. In fact, the company couldn't even keep up with the demand for almost a decade. Later on, the company grew. They advanced as technology advanced. Some of the notable inventions that Xerox came up with in their later years was the color copier, GUI, if you're aware of that, the graphical user interface, laser printer, and the Ethernet local area networking, which really led to the creation of the internet and modern day fiber optics today. So today, Xerox is not as profitable as it once was, and they collect most of their revenue from copy machine repair and maintenance. So as they did in the past, they're currently looking for ways to stay relevant in the digital world and have been begun exploring new technologies such as 3D printing and 3D technologies to keep them relevant in today's marketplace. And I'll be followed up by the missions and values statement.
So hello everyone, my name's Zachary. I'm here to go over just the missions and values as well as some of the ethics and human resource strategy later here. So just a quick overview here. Xerox's mission and values is outlined pretty clearly on their website and for all their employees. They focus mainly on empowering their workforce. They focus on customer satisfaction and profitability and growth. They follow 6 core values that they outline in their value statement. They are succeeding through satisfied customers, delivering quality and excellence, requiring premium return on assets, using technology to drive innovation, develop market leadership, empowering and valuing their employees, and finally behaving responsibly as a corporate citizen. These values form a basis for their culture. By focusing on their customers' employees, driving innovation, and striving to behave responsibly, they try to achieve their business goals and strategy in a way that maintains their workforce and maintains good relationships with their customers, etc. They mention in their mission statement that their rich heritage is based on these customer-focused and employee-centered values, and based on Joseph's history there, that seems to be the case. Just following along into their ethical decision-making process, they provide a clear outline to their employees on how to approach their ethical decisions. They provide a 5-step decision-making process. It's outlined once again very clearly for their employees in a widely available document. They ask their employees to ask themselves 5 questions when they're about to take any action that might be unethical. Does it comply with their policies and applicable law? Does it align with their core values that they outlined in their mission statement? Does the appropriateness of the practice or activity, is it guided by common sense and sound business judgment? They also ask their employees to take a public scrutiny test, i.e., if you wouldn't want to read about it in the newspaper, don't do it. And finally, they open it up to, if you're in doubt, ask other people in the company, your manager, human resources, and they even provide an ethics office and helpline that are available to help their employees make the right decision. And that final item about having an ethics office and helpline is a powerful tool that I don't think I've seen employed at other companies. And it seems to me that the purpose of that is to ensure that their operations are always ethical, and to eliminate any room for error in one singular person's judgment in edge cases where it's not very clear what the proper decision should be. And by providing these things clear cut and outlined for their employees, they ensure that across the board through with such a large company, that all their decisions that are being made in an ethical way, and they're not going to open themselves up to scandals or open themselves up to as little public scrutiny and scandals and things like that as possible, and ensure that they're behaving responsibly as a corporate citizen. So just following along here, we'd be moving into corporate strategy, which is going to be handled by Emma here.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm going to be talking about corporate strategy. So Xerox has a very successful corporate strategy that really benefits their company. They're a company that prides itself on being inclusive and diverse. Xerox strives to promote diversity. They educate their employees on diversity programs, inclusion principles, and policies that ensure that all employees know how important diversity is to them. They believe that diversity helps their company and gives them an advantage, which is very true. In 2017, they had 32% female executives, 32% of females in management, 31% of females on their board of directors, 5% of the employees identify as a part of the LGBTQ community, 48% of minority employees, 4% of individuals with disabilities, and 4% new hires are U.S. military veterans. Xerox continues to make it very clear that diversity and inclusion are important in their business. They even stated that their Global Inclusion Council meets multiple times a year to ensure that their diversity and inclusion practices are being implemented and to provide suggestions to further improve the company. Xerox has also been recognized multiple times for how diverse their company is. They've been recognized in Black Enterprise magazine as a part of the top 40 best companies for diversity, and by the Human Rights Campaign for best places to work for the LGBT equality, and received a 100% score for that. Xerox is a company committed to being diverse and inclusive. The statistics and recognition prove that they have gone above and beyond to show that they are committed to this fact. By being so diverse, it really gives them a huge competitive advantage. This is an excellent corporate strategy. Xerox Corporation states that diversity and inclusion is an initiative that occupies the whole of who we are as a community. In addition to being very diverse, Xerox also has many corporate social responsibility goals. Their goals include things like 100% landfill avoidance, 20% renewable energy use, and 35% reduction in water use. These are really great goals to have, and they have already made excellent progress on them. As of 2019, their landfill avoidance is at 91.9% for operations and 98% for their products. So Xerox is obviously very socially conscious and makes strides every day to keep it that way.
So as part of their focus on diversity and behaving responsibly, they clearly focus very much on their talent, customers as well as their employees, and that follows along to their human resources strategy. So Xerox focuses on two main levers to improve and how efficiently their workforce is implemented. They focus on engaging their talent. That includes being engaged with their employees, and understanding their company culture is their second thing. So that way they have a grasp on their workforce as a whole, and then they use those levers to deliver on their overall business strategy. Since they're a company that provides advisory and consulting services to other businesses, their HR strategy has to be top notch if they want to be able to provide that advice to other business cells on how to do things like run HR departments, et cetera. And so by focusing on engaging with their employees and understanding their culture, they use that leverage to drive their business strategy and better achieve their business goals. And I believe in their advisory services, they advise the same to other businesses, as those two levers can be a powerful force in driving a workforce.
Hello, my name's Alex. I'm going to be going over control systems used. Xerox utilizes the total quality management approach, and they have their business partners on the same page for 100% customer satisfaction. Xerox made the switch in the 1970s to TQM when their North American market share fell from 93% to 40%. They were one of the first initial American companies to adopt TQM. At the time, it was widely practiced in Japanese-based businesses, but not stateside. And through TQM, in 1989, Xerox was able to decrease its customer complaints from 60% down to 38%, which was a 22% decrease. And through TQM in 1988, the company was able to save $116 million by reducing scrap and tightening production schedules.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the leadership styles that they use. So Xerox is a huge company that has a lot of managers. So obviously there are going to be many different types of leadership styles used among different managers in different positions. One of the old CEOs of the company, Ursula Burns, was thought to be a wonderful leader for the company. Many people thought of her as self-aware, authentic, open, grounded, and very down to earth. These are great qualities to have as a leader in a large corporation like Xerox. If someone as high up as the CEO can have such great leadership qualities, then obviously a lot of employees inside the company are going to try and mirror those qualities. When asked how to describe Xerox's leadership style and approach, Burns said that they focus on customers and innovation. When having to make a decision, they use two different types of approaches. The first is a customer-based approach. They want to know what the customer's problems are. The other approach is an innovative approach. She said that the company is really extremely collaborative, and they want to have winners in the organization as opposed to winners and losers. So they really want to work together with everyone in the company to get the best out of the group and the company as a whole. So it seems that Xerox really cares about both its customers and employees when it comes to leading. Like, that's what they're really focused on. They are collaborative and work together to solve their problems.
Hello, my name is Nichelle. I'll be talking about the decision-making process in Xerox as a company. So to follow up with the leadership styles, during the year 2001, Xerox was on its way to bankruptcy. And Macaulay, at the time, she took the executive position, and her task was to shift the financial position of the company. In the article, she had spoke about her style of management and her approach on different situations. So her style included self-reflection, which was knowing her style of management and how it affects others, building the right team of internal critics who had the confidence to non-biasedly critique any action plans that were made, and then also evaluating R&D as a portfolio instead of individually, and letting go of certain investments and people that were a part of those projects to budget accordingly. And finally, she mentions on making rational decisions in the proper time frame.
Hi, my name is Christine, and I'll be going over teams and motivation. Xerox currently has 27,000 employees that sell products and services in more than 160 countries. Xerox teams are broken down into business services, business support, customer care, document management, engineering and innovation, finance, information technology, marketing, and sales. This is an example of project teams, a team assembled to solve a problem or specific task. Now with COVID-19, virtual teams are prevalent as well to get these tasks done. Each project team has their own set of goals and daily tasks to keep Xerox running day to day. Project teams are the best for operations for Xerox because each department is responsible for reaching specific goals. Organizing in this method allows the workforce to get goals that are specific, measurable, and attainable. It also allows for communication and relationship building with each department. And this all leads great into the next segment about motivating each team. So in 2014, Xerox adopted game thinking and game dynamics called gamification. And it was used to improve employee motivation through badges, ranking, points, and gifts to build extrinsic and intrinsic motivation through autonomy, self-actualization, and esteem needs. They also provided feedback and engagement loops to help team members realize what they were good at and what they needed to work on. Also held the Voice of the Employee survey to encourage engagement through open communication involving questions and categories from my work, my manager, our team, and our company. Proving that communication and feedback is key in motivating employees to work to the best of their abilities. Xerox has a long history of leading and motivating their employees, stemming from CEOs who value motivating their team members. For instance, just recently, CEO John Vincentin announced that alongside road mapping solutions to combat COVID-19 and support employees, as well as battling systemic racism in the workplace. Previous CEO Ursula Burns became not only the first African American woman, but also the first woman to succeed another woman as the head of an S&P 100 company. Burns' leadership style encouraged people to get things done, take risks, and not be afraid of those risks. She motivates her employees by letting them know what her intentions are and priorities are. Motivating employees doesn't necessarily mean incentivizing everything they do with money, but rather promoting pride in challenging social norms and empowering team members with support through roadmaps that put employee safety and rights first.
Incongruencies, what the company says versus what it does. As most companies, Xerox constructed their 6 core values, corporate governance, code of ethics, and business of conduct to operate by as a company. Unfortunately, during the late 90s and the early 2000s, their actions said otherwise. Due to mismanagement, miscommunication, poor decisions, and fraudulent business, the company took a downfall and lost credibility. Numerous events that occurred during this time frame led to the big Xerox accounting scandal back in the early 2000s. And Xerox, as a company, they falsified their documents to portray the company in good financial standing, but they were not, unfortunately. And the company's top 6 officials, they pleaded guilty, and they were subject to pay these fines. And over the time, the company did redesign their platform to recover from the scandal.
Other noteworthy findings, the Xerox 914 originally got its name because of its length, 9 inches by 14. The Xerox 914 originally had a problem with catching on fire, and political activist Ralph Nader claimed that his caught on fire 3 times in 4 months, and because of that, they started putting a small fire extinguisher with the product, and they called it the Scorch Eliminator. Xerox became so synonymous with its product that it has become a proprietary eponym, kind of like Google or Kleenex. And then the Xerox researchers at its Palo Alto Center helped with breakthroughs for Apple and Microsoft, coming through with several aspects of personal computing, including desktop Metaphor GUI, computer mouse, and other different things that helped Apple and Microsoft break through and revolutionize personal computing. And then thank you so much for watching our presentation. The purpose of our research was to study how Xerox has survived and adapted through its 114 company year history.
Thank you so much for watching our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and found it very interesting. Thank you so much. Bye.